And I call this meeting to order. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Crenshaw,
Present.
Councilmember Camarena,
Present.
Councilmember Marroquin,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott,
Present.
Mayor Carter.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Councilmember Crenshaw, would you please lead us?
My honor. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Mayor Pro Tem Elliott, will you lead us in the invocation?
Certainly, should we pray? Once again, our Father, we acknowledge your greatness, your love for us, and many blessings that we have. We pray that we would not take for granted the prosperity, the stability, the freedoms that we live in day by day that most of the world does not have. We thank you for these things. And just tonight, we have so many things on our plate, but we ask you for wisdom from above, dealing with each one in a right way. Pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Madam City Attorney, do we have any report out from closed session?
We do not. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. The City Council welcomes your input. At this time, members of the public may address the City Council on any matter not listed on the posted agenda. Any matter, not listed on the posted agenda. Pursuant the Brown Act, no action will be taken on any other brought forth under public comments. We ask that you please complete a speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Although you are not required to identify yourself, the information on the speaker slip assists the mayor that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized, and also assists the city clerk in preparing the city council meeting minutes. Unless the mayor extends the time, there is a 3-minute time limit for each public presentation. Any information provided on the speaker slip is volunteer and will be a public record. At this time, our first blue slip is Mr. Peter Rodriguez.
Good evening, members of the council and audience. I'd like to thank the police department for their effort in the bike incident. As a cyclist, I wear a helmet every time I go out at 4 in the morning to ride my bike. I think it's dangerous for our youth to think they can just go 50 miles an hour with no helmet, weaving in front of cars and doing whatever they want to do. I was once young and made some foolish mistakes when I was riding a bike. So I was grateful for the enforcement of it. I'm glad that the police department did put it out there to the public that, hey, we're enforcing it. Please don't do it. And I'm glad of the enforcement action that took place. And I'm glad they impounded them because the youth need to learn a lesson. Because we don't want to go to funerals. And you can't bring it back. Okay? Second, I want to thank the police department again for the program that they have about those who are trying to buy, the minors trying to get adults to buy liquor for them. Another problem, that youthful indiscretion, or you can call it whatever it is, but that's where the problem starts. You start drinking young and it becomes a problem down the road to become an alcoholic. So I'm grateful for that enforcement. And I'm also grateful for the enforcement that the police have been doing regarding the homeless population. Making my area where I go shopping, Vaughn's this morning, found a lot safer area. We're very responsive and very positive the way they handle the situation. And it makes that area a lot smoother for the shoppers who are out there. Those are my public comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next blue slip is Pastor Marco King.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, and all my fellow citizens of El Centro.
Good evening.
Real quickly, 61 years ago, Martin Luther King delivered the I Have a Dream speech. It's been just a little over 70 years that the civil rights movement has taken place during the 1950s and the 1960s. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed, as we look today, 162 years ago, 7 months and 18 days. The problem that we still face today is that even after 100 years of discrimination, we're still fighting the same battles. Same battles is being fought right here in the streets of El Centro, where we are starting to forget about the word democracy. Democracy comes from the Greek word demos, which means people, and kratos, which means power, meaning power to the people. Why am I giving you this history lesson? Because we face issues where we have one voice that comes out very loud to speak against Black individuals who are sitting on this council. There's only one, so you already know who I'm talking about. All right. The problem that I have with this is that in my community, where I choose to live in, I see everyone as an equal. No one is above anyone and no one is below anyone. We have a responsibility to take care of everyone in our sight. So I have a problem that when we start allowing one person to speak loudly to become the individual that marks the voice of the people per se, it causes problems amongst other people. I know the term is the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but sometimes the squeaky wheel just needs to be replaced. We can't allow these types of things to put it to you plainly. Almost everybody in Imperial Valley is related one way or another. You can't pick up a rock and throw it in a straight line without hitting 5 or 6 family members. So when you go out and you speak against one person, you're attacking an entire family. We have to do better as a people. We have enough going on in our country right now where we just had ICE agents down on 4th doing as much damage as possible. So we need to wake up and make sure that we're on one accord with one another. Many people don't speak out against this. I generally don't come to y'all for anything other than, usually some type of congratulations. But I have to tell you today, I'm asking you to do better and launch out and address these people who are doing these attacks and tell them to sit down and be quiet. If you can't do it, point them in my direction. I'll be happy to tell them to sit down and be quiet. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Now we will move on to our presentations. And the first presentation we're going to have is by Dr. Thomas Tackey.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. I'm here to, which direction do I face?
What
Okay,
direction?
No, I'm good here. Okay, so I'm here to share a unique program that my students at Central have partnered with KPBS on that dropped yesterday. And it's a podcast series titled Voices del Valle. It came through KPBS's Explore program where they're looking for local content. And this was in the fall of 23. We applied, we were selected to, pitch our ideas to them. We went through several rounds of competition. We came out victorious, basically. We were selected before all of the pros that had, done what they did. But basically, what we pitched to them is that we would have a youth-based podcast talking about this place, about El Centro, about growing up in El Centro, about coming of age in El Centro. And the result is an 11-episode series that has a wide gamut of topics, everything from, what is there fun to do here, to living homeless, to celebrity things with Walter Beasley, with Nana Logue, with Marco Peralta, all talking about growing up here in the Valley. We talk about championships. We talk about kids being raised by grandparents. It's all these things that they're not unique to the Valley, but they are an identity of the Valley. And KPBS has been extremely supportive of this. They've mentored us, they've helped us. We've done all the recording, we've done all the mixing. So I invite you to, check this out. The first episode dropped yesterday, but what I'd like to do is play the trailer. It's a 3-minute piece that has a little bit of something from every one of them. So
Thank
Here we
you,
go.
thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, going down to introducing Voices del Valle. There we go.
3 minutes.
This is Sabrina Jacobs, 94.1 FM at KPFA in Berkeley, California.
This is Kathleen Schock with KVPR, Fresno and Bakersfield.
This is Nick Honko of 88.5 FM in Southern California.
California Public Radio Day, coming soon to a station near you.
Go to kpbs.org and support your public media station.
You're from where?
El Centro to everywhere. We're Voices del Valle.
Voices del Valle?
It's a team-produced podcast about coming of age in California's Imperial Valley.
I love Voices del Valle.
This season on Voices del Valle, we sit down with local teens and big names like actor Donald Lowe, jazz artist Walter Beasley, and sports broadcaster Marco Peralta to talk about growing up right here in the Valley.
Everyone has their own story to tell, their own journey to follow, and their own dreams to pursue. Today, we are diving into these stories.
And it's like a little family you make.
We are talking about everything that makes the Valley fun.
It's that fear of being alone.
Yes.
That
definitely.
fear of being so just left like nothing.
Yeah.
Why can't it be you? Why can't it be you?
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna be somebody. Why not you?
I'm from a small town that maybe no one ever heard of, wherever I'm going, but I'm going to make an impact.
Man, we were little men, well, we were kids playing grown music. Our story isn't just about recounting scores and routines. It's about the stories behind the triumphs.
Even though none of our stories are the same and they're all very different and we all shared different experiences. And my brother had just been born, so we were living in a very small apartment.
For my brother and me, homelessness was everywhere, going from house to house, ending up in a hotel room with a brave single mom.
So I walked into the classroom, I stood up on a chair, and I said, yes, I'm pregnant.
Stood up on a chair.
Yes.
Like really, like
I got up and I went like this into the class and I said, I'm pregnant, okay? I'm pregnant.
We are finding cool stuff to do and proving there's way more to this place than just heat and dust.
Stay for halftime. Don't go to the snack bar.
But a story isn't just about struggle. It's about hope, compassion, and the power of the community.
We all complain about I don't want to go to practice, but
Before he passed, he said something. He said, Walter, we had to prepare for the world before you even left El Centro.
Those are the decisions that you make that are really changing the path of your life, because all of us have an excuse, and especially now with the internet and stuff, we all have an excuse not to get outside and be part of something.
Guess who's back? Back again. Pedro's back. Call a friend. And he would just get so mad at me.
How do you expect to be great if you're not willing to accept the greatness of those around you?
But the real question is this just a pit stop, or is this where your story actually starts? So if you've ever said, there's nothing to do here,
stick around because we're about to change your mind.
Fresh voices, bold stories, made in the Valley.
Voices del Valle. We hope you join us as we explore our coming of age stories from the Imperial Valley, coming soon from KPBS.
Wow.
These days, there's so much news. And I think you can hear that, the quality of production and the passion that these students are bringing. And the strength of this really is that these are authentic stories. Like I said, they're bold stories, and they're fresh voices. It is their voices, and they're proud to be from here. And I think we're going to garner a lot of attention with this series. So thank you.
Thank you. We want to thank you. Please send our congratulations to the students. We would definitely appreciate that. Thank you so very much. This was very touching. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving right along, we have our next presentation by Lindsay Dale.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Lindsay Dale, Registrar of Voters for the County of Imperial. Here to give you a quick update on what we are doing at the county to transition and modernize our elections. We are moving into what we call the Voters' Choice Act. And this is, like I said, will modernize elections in Imperial County, making it more convenient and flexible for voters, replacing traditional polling places with vote centers. And I have shortened my presentation from my workshop presentation, so it'll be relatively quick, I hope. So it was established with Senate Bill 450 in 2016. And as I said, the Voters' Choice Act modernizes an elections for our county. There are 4 aspects to what we call VCA, Voters' Choice Act. We'll refer to it as VCA. The first is every voter gets a vote by mail ballot. So we are already there. That was due to the passage of AB 37 in 2021. Every registered voter gets a ballot in the mail. So we're there. The second aspect of VCA is that we install secure ballot drop boxes throughout the county. In 2021, we took the initiative to be proactive, and we installed 8 ballot drop boxes around Imperial County. They are located in El Centro, Brawley, Calexico, Calipatria, Hopeville, Imperial, and Westmoreland. So those are already established. They are picked up on a regular basis during elections, starting. Is it funny? That's fun. I like that ringtone. We pick those up on a regular basis during elections, and very secure. And it's a great alternative for people to drop off their vote by mail ballot rather than dropping it into the mail or bringing it in person. The third aspect of, or the requirements of VCA is to allow every voter to cast their ballot at any vote center. So currently, the way we are right now, we have 56 traditional polling places that are open on election day only. Each person or each voter is identified by a precinct number, or you have a precinct number. And if you are in, like the city of El Centro, you have a designated poll site that you are to go vote in person if that's how you choose to vote. Under VCA, a person can go to any vote center in Imperial County and cast a ballot that they are entitled to. So for instance, if you live in El Centro, but you work in Brawley and it's more convenient for you to vote on your lunch hour, say, in person, you can go to a vote center in Brawley and we will provide a ballot that has El Centro City Council, El Centro School District, Supervisorial District 2, everything that you are entitled to vote. As it is right now under the old traditional polling place, if you went to a polling site in Brawley, you would get a Brawley ballot. So you wouldn't be able to vote on those El Centro contests. The fourth aspect is that we would expand the early in-person voting. So vote centers will be open between 4 to 11 days, depending on the location. And that's, again, a traditional, or modern from where we are right now, which is traditional polling sites are only open on election day. So where will these locations be at? So under the VCA requirements, we are required to open 1 vote center for every 50,000 registered voters for 11 days. So that would mean 10 days before the election plus election day. Imperial County has 93,000 registered voters currently. And so we would be required to open 2 vote centers for 11 days. However, growing up here in El Centro, I know that if we open one in Brawley, we better open one in Calexico, and we better open one in El Centro, right? So and those are our 3 largest, populated cities. So our proposal is to have 3 vote centers open for 11 days, starting 10 days before the election plus election day. The first 10 days, they would be open for 8 hours, and then election day from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. in Brawley, El Centro, and Calexico. In addition to this, we are required to open 1 vote center for every 10,000 registered voters that are open 4 days. So 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, plus election day. Those locations would be Calipatria, Hopeville, Imperial, Westmoreland, Heber, Nyland, Salton City, Winter Haven, and then second locations in Brawley, El Centro, and Calexico. So we would have 2 here in El Centro. We recognize that most of the traffic in these vote centers will happen the weekend before election and into election day. We know that the vote centers will be relatively slow based on other counties that are already implementing VCAs. So there are many benefits to vote centers. First of all, again, they're open 4 to 11 days. I like to use the example of our firefighters. My son's a firefighter for the county. He works 3-day shifts. So he's on for 3 days, off for 3 days. If he is on duty on election day, he doesn't have an option to vote in person. He can't, right? On election day, as we currently are. But under vote centers, he would be able to go on Saturday and vote early, in person. Same thing for our nurses that work 12-hour shifts. Our senior citizens and disabled community that may rely on friends and family to transport them. Tuesday might not be the most convenient day because they might be working, it's a weekday, lots of excuses. But if you had extra days to consider to choose a day that's more convenient for you, it is a benefit to this population as well. Vote centers are located in special locations that are ADA compliant, that have plenty of parking, and are close proximity to public transportation. Those are some criteria that we look at when we identify a vote center location. Again, voters can go to any vote center in Imperial County to cast the ballot that they are entitled to, and also to drop off their vote by mail ballots. Last year in November, there were several close contests. I know that this city had some close contests on the ballot. And if you guys remember, there was about a 2-week period that we did not release any results. And there was a lot of ballots that were still out there counted because we were counting our provisional ballots. We had over 5,500 provisional ballots in November. A lot of ballots. It takes between 10 to 12 minutes per ballot for us to process one provisional ballot. So it took us a very long time. Under vote centers, a lot of those provisional ballots were created because the voter went to the wrong location, or they did not take their vote by mail ballot in to surrender. And so under vote centers, this is going to significantly reduce the amount of provisional ballots that we will have, significantly. When I looked into data and the counties that had vote centers, I mean, we had 5,000, they had 12, right? Very different. Again, all ballot types will be available at all vote centers. This is created because we will have touchpad tablets that voters can use. We've had those in past elections, but they will be able to have any ballot on there that we program in. And we will also have what we call a ballot on demand. So if a person wants to have a paper ballot instead of the electronic version, we can accommodate that as well at every vote center. Voters can register and update their registration at any vote center. And each vote center will have real-time access to voter information or voter registration and activity. So they will be able to identify if a voter has already voted. Let's say, if a voter does not come in with their vote by mail ballot, they will be able to suspend that vote by mail ballot and issue them a new one. So we don't have that second ballot floating around there. This is all created by touchpads that we will have at each location, and be able to have that real-time access and information available right there. In addition, we also have what we call remote access vote by mail. This is not new. We call it RAVBM. This is not new, but it is a feature that is really great for people that may be bedridden or disabled and need special equipment technology to mark their ballot. It's a very simple process. A person can vote independently and privately at their home. It is not internet voting. Let me repeat that. It is not internet voting. The process works as a voter would call us, we would provide them, or email, can contact us anyway. We would provide them with a link where they could produce their ballot, mark it using their technology, and then print it, put it in an envelope, sign their envelope, and send it to us, where then we would verify that the voter is registered to vote, has not voted before or in that election, and then be able to process the ballot that way. So that's remote access vote by mail. Again, it's not new to California, but it hasn't been used a whole lot here in Imperial County, so we definitely want voters to know that it is available. To get us through this transition, we have what we call the Election Administration Plan. It is in draft form right now. This is what we're doing. We are going around educating the public about this. The copies of this Election Administration Plan are available in our office, on our website. By calling me, I can email you a copy in English or Spanish, however you need it. It is our map and our plan, how we will get to the VCA from where we are right now. And then the timeline. So we had our first round of public consultation meetings that focused on our senior population, our disabled population, and non-English residents. We had those in June and July, followed by a public comment period. And then we started, that was required in the VCA, but then we decided to add an additional round of public workshops that we are just in the middle of right now. We have one more left in Calapat next week. We've been here, we were here last week and here in El Centro. And so we're having these public workshops to educate everyone. Then we'll have a public hearing, which we have not scheduled yet. It says August, but I'm thinking it'll be the first week of September, followed by a second public comment period before we finally submit our plan to the Secretary of State for approval. So we are very excited about the Secretary of State approving this option for us here in Imperial County. Like I said, it will modernize and bring us into this next round of election in the election world. With that, I know that's a lot of information. It's a kind of a cool concept, and I'm very excited. There are currently 29 counties that have been approved and have been functioning as a VCA county in California. We were the 30th to jump on. We're not approved yet, but we are there. I mean, we're right there, and we got the funding from the county to be able to transition, and so we're very excited about that. So, are there any questions from you?
Did you already have your last public hearing in August, or is it still scheduled?
The public hearing?
Yes.
I have not scheduled it, but I'm looking at the first week of September, and I can definitely let this board know when it is scheduled.
Thank
you.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
I don't have a question. I just would like to know if you would email us the slides that you just presented.
Absolutely.
Please.
Yes, I can email those
So I can
to you.
go through them slowly.
Yeah. What I'll
Thank you.
do is I do have the election administration plan, but it is a large document. But I did create an executive summary.
Oh,
So it's a
great.
page and a half
Okay.
that will give that information to you. I will email that to Norma tomorrow.
Okay,
And
great.
she can provide that to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
So Lindsay, I'm assuming that you can still mail in your ballot, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can still mail in your ballot for sure. And let me just also say that this will go into effect for the June primary.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't go into effect with the new election that could be happening in November. And if you want an update on that, I can give you a quick update on that. The governor has proposed a special statewide election in response to the Texas redistricting efforts to happen in California. So there was 3 pieces of legislation that were proposed on Monday, ACA 8, AB 604, and SB 280. So what those are is ACA 8 is amends the Constitution to giving the legislature of the power to draw congressional maps that will go into effect for the 2026, 28, and 30 elections. There is one key provision in that piece of legislation. It says only if Texas, Florida, or another state adopts a new congressional district map. So there's a quote in there. AB 604 creates the maps for the new congressional maps. Now, I have looked at the proposed map, and we are not affected here in Imperial County by the proposed map. So as long as that doesn't change, we will still have Congressional District 25, which we will share with Riverside County. And then SB 280, which calls for the special election. And most importantly, it also provides funding for counties. So that was a huge worry that we had because a cost of a special election, and I estimated it at about $680,000 for our county. 680,000. And
Yeah.
not dollars, right? 1,000.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of money that we don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say that with a smile.
Yeah. What else can you do but smile, right? If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Well, if you any questions later on, if you think of any, please give me a call. I'm always available. I think all of you know how to reach me. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Moving right along, our next presentation is of the Imperial Valley 9/11 Memorial Event and stair climb.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and fellow City Council members and community members. Thank you for this opportunity for allowing me. My name is Matt Garcia. I'm part of a member of the Imperial Valley 9/11 Stair Climb Committee. We are a committee that represents a local fire community, firefighters community, as well as law enforcement and public private organizations with a mission that ensures the Imperial Valley never forgets the tragic events that took place on September 11, 2001. We do this by hosting the 9/11 Stair Climb at the local Imperial Valley Expo. 22 years ago, 9/11 is when the event that happened. Approximately, this is our 14th year that we're doing the 9/11 Stair Climb here in the Imperial Valley. With that, the events of the details that we have are as follows. It's on September 6th, 2025. It's a Saturday night, which the ceremony will begin at 7:45 p.m., followed by their stair climb at 8 p.m. Individuals that cannot do the equivalent to 110 stories of the stair climb or have the option of doing a few laps around the racetrack as well. With that being said, we come here to potentially seek sponsorship for that, and we have a video for you guys as well. Yep.
Misty eye of the mountain below. Keep careful watch of my brother's soul. And should this sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over your son.
Thank you for your time this evening. Just to reiterate, early registration for this event is closing on August 22nd, in which if you submit your registration, you would get a shirt that's in time for the event itself. We also have the opportunity for the vendors as well as sponsorship. Like I said, we have 4 categories, 343, 413, 9/11, 2001. Another thing that our proceeds go to, we do local scholarships for our Imperial Valley College, for the Fire Academy, EMS, and or Police Academy. We currently have a few candidates in mind for this year's scholarships. With that being said, we just like to bring this public to you guys in the city of El Centro.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's going to be a minute, but our acting city manager will get to the sponsorship part. Okay.
Perfect.
But thank you for the presentation. We appreciate that.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, the next presentation, number 4, will be deferred to September 2nd. To the
Okay.
next meeting.
Thank you. So now we will move to our consent agenda items. May I have a motion and a second to adopt consent items 5 through 12?
A motion to approve?
No, we'll second.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, who second? I did.
Madam Mayor, before we vote, I'd like to just point out item 9, discussion any necessary action regarding the resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a grant agreement with Caltrans for the Heart of El Centro Community Connectivity. We are receiving a grant from the Transportation Department, California Transportation Department, for $218,000, I believe. Does that sound right? Yes, Angel? Thank you. So I just wanted to point that out, that we've got a great grant to help improve our Imperial Avenue. So just wanted to point that out as a matter of really good news that I didn't want to skip over. Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
I didn't vote.
I didn't vote either.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Since you already moved it, I put.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I voted for you.
Yeah, 'cause there was
Voted
You
twice.
voted twice?
I voted
All
twice.
right, all right. I'm glad to hear that, huh? Okay, now we will move on to our community sponsorship.
Yes,
by
Madam Mayor
Acting
and
City Manager.
members of council, tonight you have before you a community sponsorship for the Imperial Valley 9/11 stair climb. You watched the video, you've heard a little bit of it. I know each of you have been at the events. It's a phenomenal event commemorating the loss of lives during the tragic incidents in 2001. The local movement here to keep this alive has been just tremendous in our community. If you have not had a chance, for those that are viewing today or watching at a later date, I highly encourage you to come out and attend. The humanity that's shown out there, the remembrance, and just the unity of our community coming together to commemorate this is nothing short of amazing. We'll never forget those events. We have to move past them. And this is just one way that our community shows their support of that and of the victims' families and so forth. You have before you tonight 4 sponsorship levels. As you heard a few minutes ago, one at the $343 level, one at $413, one at $911, and one at $2,001. So that is your choice tonight, Madam Mayor and Council. Should you elect to provide a sponsorship, those are the 4 amounts that are recommended by staff at this point. One of those 4 amounts are recommended by staff.
I recommend 9/11.
Second.
I will.
Oh, was that a motion?
Is that a
Or was it a recommendation?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion
Motion
be
vote?
an action vote. Yeah.
Yes.
And I will second that motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
They can vote on the screen. Yes.
Oh,
we can.
okay.
Mine is not showing up. There we go.
Marty, you want to vote for me or?
Now, you can't do 3 times now.
I would like to say that, I have done this event. It is September and it is September. I'll just leave it at that. One thing I have learned is not to do it with your grandchildren because they will run circles around you. And so I'm glad to see the medical staff was there.
Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very nice event. I know our city council, for as far as I've been on council, we have participated the last 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. So. But thank you, thank you. Now, moving right along, we're gonna have the discussion of any necessary actions regarding consideration of contract with the MYLO janitor service, and this is by Miss Adriana Nava.
Madam Mayor, I might point out that she came back from vacation. This is her day off. She's here to present.
Thank you.
That's the level of dedication, just to point
See, they should have told us earlier so we could have at least got you a cookie or something. No, because she looks so good because she's the one losing all this weight now. So I want to give her something sweet. A cookie or a Coke, sweet tea.
Hello, Honorable Mayor. I ate all those things. So I'll get started. The item before you today is consideration of awarding a contract for routine janitorial maintenance for a police station and recreational facilities. And I'll provide a little recap. So we currently use various companies to do janitorial work. We typically have a custodian who helps with a lot of the daily setup, minor cleanup, but daily deep clean, because our facilities do accommodate a lot of individuals, including seniors, is done by a company. Currently, we've been with the Work Training Center for the last 12 years. They've cleaned the community center, the adult center, and the old post office pavilion. Now, this new RFP that went out also includes the new police station facility, which they will also have some janitorial staff, but the size of the facility requires additional cleaning due to its great size. And so the contract that we had was specific to recreation facilities, and we've added the police station as well to achieve economies of scale. When you have a larger contract, you get more bidders, and so it allows for that. And let me see. So these are the facilities that I just mentioned. So community center, adult center, which are in the same complex, the old post office pavilion, which is on 5th Street, and then the new police department. And here's just an image. I grabbed a couple of, just so that you're familiar with the locations that I'm speaking about. Our timeline. So anytime we go out for a contract, we do a request for proposals, and then we also publicize it in the newspaper. And then we have an RFP mandatory meeting. So we meet with the proposers so that if there are any questions regarding what we wrote, or if we missed something, it's an opportunity for them to provide us that information. And then subsequent to that, we do an RFP opening where we open it and then we also review. So we usually have a committee. In this case, it was myself, Gus, Javier, and Lieutenant Messick who reviewed it, representing the police department. And then we make a recommendation to council for award. So this is a recommendation. Council can decide. If you look at the proposals we're to review, all of the companies that provided a proposal could probably do the work, but we review and rank in accordance with the RFP we submit. So here is the cost and funding mechanism. So usually for these types of services, we've used the general fund. In some cases, for supplies and services, we've also used Measure P. Finance and the council can make a determination on what funding we will use. So the 3 proposals that were received was Milo, I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of the company, but it's MYLO. They submitted a proposal in the amount of $191,556. The Work Training Center submitted a proposal in the amount of $148,008. And then Merchants Building Maintenance, they submitted a proposal in the amount of $76,852. Their proposal was substantially lower, but was found non-responsive. One of the facilities, they would be using 2 individuals, and so they'd be cleaning for such a long time that they would be working when staff and the members of the public were present. So there are special provisions, things that we do need to take into account when we are considering the proposers. So as mentioned, we currently have, we're using the Work Training Center, and their contract that we've had is $42,336, but it does not include the police station. Also, our new scope of work adds additional items that we realize we missed and that we need to make sure, I think something like windowsills, little things that we wanted to make sure we included in the new contract. So if a new contract is awarded to Milo as recommended by staff, the amount would be $191,556. So when we reviewed the proposals, we looked at things like company's experience. And you can see before you in the slide that Milo's company experience included Raleigh, Calexico, County of Imperial, Sun Community Federal Credit Union, which is across the street from the police station, BLM, Imperial County Sheriffs, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and also the Supreme Courts of California. WTC's company experience included the Border Patrol, Naval Air Facility, Caltrans, Desert Trails, and they didn't list this, but we included our facilities as well under company experience. But Milo's definitely included many similar locations and facilities. The other area where there were, I guess, a discrepancy, you would say, is Milo's proposal specifically identified each of the locations and the scope of work. WTC did not attach a scope of work. They just included a caveat clause that said, we will do what is outlined in Exhibit A, but didn't include it either. So these are the minor but major issues that we include. If you can see, it includes the scope and the breakdown of the different activities that will be taking place. So with that said, so these were the highlights for Milo. So they included, for us, reliable option for the city's janitorial needs, strong references. We called all the references and the references checked out very positive. And then also, while it's not the lowest cost, it reflects the level of service and resources that we think we will need for the new police station, including the second-story windows. Also very thorough. They included different things in their proposal. For example, rags. They color coordinate the rags accordingly to avoid cross-contamination. So that level of detail and thoroughness set them apart from the other companies. Additionally, they had a strong capacity to manage scope of facilities. So we looked at the facilities that they're currently cleaning are also very large. So for us, I think for the police station, I think it was like 44,000 square feet. So it's a lot of area that you'll need to cover, and number of staffing that you'll also need to have. So this company already has large levels of staffing. And then, so that was because that's the recommendation that we're providing. So staff is recommending the award of the contract for janitorial services to Milo. And I believe members of WTC are here. I don't know if they'll have any questions or comments. I believe we also have members of the public for Milo as well. And I don't know if we have any for the third company, but we're here to answer any questions from the council.
Well, we do have a blue slip from Virginia Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Would you like for her to speak now?
Well, it's up to city manager. I'm not sure. We don't normally have the proposal.
Yeah, Mayor, if it's your decision to open for public comments, but if we have a speaker slip, that would be appropriate at this time.
Yes, yes. So at this time, if we can have Virginia Gonzalez come up, please. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for the opportunity to clarify my proposal. The agenda notes that WTC bid did not include pricing for the second-story window cleaning. I wanted to respectfully correct that our proposal does include second-story window cleaning. The city's request for proposal asked for pricing based on Exhibit A, which was the scope of work, which required a fee schedule. It did not require itemization of individual tasks. That is why you don't see it in our broken out separately, but the service is fully included in our scope of work. I would like to clarify an important point regarding our proposal. Our RFP submission did not state nor did intend to subcontract the two-story window cleaning. We fully understand this service to be part of the required scope of work, and it was included in our overall pricing. Even if there were any misunderstandings, I want to be very clear. We recognize that two-story window cleaning is the responsibility of the contractor and comes out of the pricing we submitted. There would be no need for the city to enter into a separate contract or incur additional costs. Furthermore, the city also acknowledged in the RFP that after a thorough walkthrough and review of the police station upon completion, pricing for the police station building may be subject to adjustments. We participated in that process, and we prepared our bid in full compliance with those requirements. Importantly, WT's proposal covers the complete scope of service and would save the city $43,548 annually, totaling $217,740 over a 5-year contract. That's a significant savings for the city and its residents while still delivering all required services, including second-story window cleaning. I would like to remind the council that our agency, WTC, has been providing services to the city for over 17 years now. We started in 2008. Our janitorial work is performed by developmentally challenged individuals, giving them meaningful employment and allowing them to proudly serve our community. Choosing our proposal not only ensures cost savings and full compliance with the RFP, but also continues a longstanding relationship that directly benefits residents with disabilities. I respectfully ask the council to reconsider our proposal with these clarifications in mind. Thank you for your time and for your service in our community.
Thank you.
Before she sits down, perhaps, is there time, for some questions?
Questions? Yes, if you have a question.
Or you're suggesting that the bid that you submitted includes second-story window cleaning and everything else that is going to be asked of you?
Yes, I do. It's all included.
And not adjusting the bid.
No, Councilman. We've always done our pricing. We know our janitorial business. We've been in the business for over 36 years. So we have enough experience. Like I mentioned, we've worked with the city of El Centro. We understand that they have their special needs and we've been able to accommodate. So we have a full understanding. This is not the first time we do this.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Have there been any complaints of your services from the city?
No.
During this time or?
No.
Actually, I have a question, but it'd be for Ariana.
Adriana, yes.
Adriana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm also asking Lieutenant Messick, who is also one of the reviewers. And for us, the area that the recommendation rested on the references provided and the type of facility. If you looked at both companies, I think they were shy 2 points away from each other. And so we've worked with WTC in the past as well, but the level of security required for the police station was one of the areas that we felt in terms of comparing the two, Milo had stronger references overall. And I don't know if you want to add anything as a reviewer from a different perspective.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So looking at the scope of work that was provided by Milo was very thorough with the building, construction of the state-of-the-art police facility. They definitely covered all the areas that we need to be serviced, including the second story, windows, interior, exterior. There's approximately 19 restrooms that we have in the new facility. Like Adriana stated, it's 44,000 square feet. And the scope of work just was very detailed and covered every aspect of what is required or going to be required for the new police facility.
I have a question. When you state level of security, could you explain that to me, please? Because
So with the police department, we have many offices that are secured, confidential documents, along with the storage of evidence, ranging from narcotics to firearms, personnel files. We have police records, reports that need to remain secured. So with reviewing the scope of work and the type of background checks that are conducted on the employees that are going to service the police facility, it's really important to have that.
Okay, so currently, the current WTC doesn't clean the police department?
No, they do not.
Okay, who does that?
We have a custodian that
You have your own
handles that.
custodian?
Yes.
Okay.
May I ask a question? You know, if you can go back to the slide that that lists the references. There you go. Okay. So in Milo's company experience, City of Brawley, City of Calexico, County of Imperial, do they also service their law enforcement agencies as well?
I think in some of them they do. I can pull up the proposal if you'd like.
And then because you've also got the Imperial County Sheriff's Office, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, you know, because I'm sure that they also need security clearance and extensive background checks in order to service those facilities as well, right?
Well, that was, go ahead.
Raleigh is public work, city clerk, contracts officer, City of Calexico, so it's City Hall. County of Imperial is 457,000 square feet. Sorry? Various offices, yes. Sun Community Federal Credit Union, BLM is 20,000 square feet. Carroll County Sheriff's is 30,000 square feet.
What are they servicing in that 30,000 square feet? Are they involved?
Not a dialogue.
Just point of
It's not
order,
a dialogue.
yeah, if I may, point of order, if you care to speak, ma'am, please fill out a speaker slip. We'll be happy to address the questions, but we do have to follow proper protocol.
Yes, and so we did require floor plans. And then some pre-reports in California is 50,000 square I think these are the sizes of the buildings that are being serviced. So it'll be the entire facility. And so that's.
Yeah. No, and the reason I asked that is because, I'm sure that they also have to go through those extensive background checks because of the areas that they're accessing. They may have the same type of weapons, records, and so on that Lieutenant Messick pointed out, so that's why I was asking. So they've got, those employees already, checked, and then we would have to go through, if we were to go with them, that they would have to go through our background, or is it something that would pass from what they've already been through?
So we would rely on the company
I
to,
see, okay, all righty.
to provide that information. So with cleaning the police department, there are designated areas that they'll just be focused on. We plan on having our 2 custodians mainly, focus on the
Those
certain
cer-
offices that are secure, like where backgrounds are located and stuff like this. However, we are a 24-hour facility, and to have people come in before it's open to the public or after hours, it's important to have trustworthy staff come in and clean the place. But yes, to answer your question, we will rely on the company to conduct those background.
So I have a couple questions. And so was that listed in the RFP as far as security? Was that part of the, because when I looked at this, so first I want to clarify that the PD has its own, at least 1 or 2 full-time custodians, or?
We will have 2.
2, and then you're going to, when I read this proposal, the services would be coming in 3 times a week for that particular location, and then 5 times a week for the others. Is that correct, as I read it? When you look at the experiences, I would say that both of these companies would have extensive background, because I would imagine the United States Border Patrol and the Navy Air Facility would also have extensive concerns with some of the background situations. And one of the things that is the most telling is how have they done for us over this almost 2 decades? I mean, if we're ready to move on, or I guess I'm trying to be as objective about this as possible when we're comparing both side by side. Now, I do agree that the proposal brought back seemed to be more in a professional manner and outlined in a more detailed way a response to the RFP. And it seems to me to be what kind of pushed the panel into saying, this is probably the way we want to go. There is something to be said about it being $4,000 more a month to do it. So, one of the points of contention that I'm reading, and I read this one specifically, is the 2nd story windows, because when I'm watching that being built, I'm like, who's gonna clean that?
Yeah.
And we need that. That's definitely something. So it definitely, but I would imagine that was called out in the RFP, that would be part of the scope of the work.
Yes, it was.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this a little bit, but being as objective as possible when we do appreciate all that. Definitely from the response, I would say that Milo's, if that's how we're pronouncing it, was the more accurate, detailed kind of response that we were looking for. But I don't believe if we just cover the RFP and say, we're going to do the scope of work you're asking us to do for this price, and we're going to do it for this price, then we need to also be mindful of that. So if you could, it's just one of the things that I'm kind of wrestling with. So thank you.
Yeah, these are certainly tough decisions you're going to make. Cleaning is cleaning, right? If you've worked with anybody, you know that some people think there's a certain level and the others think there's another level of cleanliness. It can be subjective. And why we review proposals and rank them is for the level of detail. We don't actually have them clean 2 rooms and compare and contrast how the rooms were cleaned.
Correct.
And so we base it solely as what is written in the proposal. the references and then the reference checks we make when we contact the different companies. And so, and also cost is a portion. If you looked at the RFP, there's a breakdown. Cost is a factor, but responsiveness to the proposal is what we use overall, and it's an overall tally. And I believe Milo was at 95.2, WTC was at 93. So they're very close. Either way, you're gonna have a cleaning company cleaning these facilities, which is, you know, in our point of view, that's a good thing. But we review and rank according to how they responded to the proposal. And so again, you know, council can decide preference if it's, you know, maybe saving on dollars, but overall level of responsiveness, in our opinion, as a committee, Milo responded better to the proposal.
No, and if I may, I absolutely understand the process and I appreciate the input and the feedback. We are the stewards of funding, so that is part of our responsibility up here. But, you know, as you stated, that those are very close proposals, and that from time to time, and certainly you guys have taken the time to get into the details of this, and you came up with a recommendation. I just wanted to point out some of the, you know, the glaring comparisons. And I wanted to be very fair and equitable about the way we're doing that. But at the end of the day, I do believe in the process that it's not, I mean, it's a significant amount, don't get me wrong, in any stretch of but we are looking at, we do gravitate to genuine people. If you go get your hair cut from someone and they do a good job, you keep going. Someone fixes your car, they do a good job, you keep going back. So there's some of that I'm looking for. And that was my concern. You know, if there was concerns moving forward over this period of time, then certainly maybe it's time to go a different direction. And that's what I was kind of looking for at that point. So.
Yeah, we do have, from time to time, when we've had issues, we do contact the work training center. It's happened generally when they rotate supervisors, where, you know, they miss certain spots, the restroom wasn't cleaned. You know, there have been, overall, have we sent them a letter? No, usually it's an email away. We've contacted Virginia. Hey, this is what happened today. We'll send her some pictures, and then they'll come back and inspect. And so there have been those instances, and we do let them know, and they'll usually bring employees back to make sure it's correct.
Thank you.
I have another question, actually to WTC, the Work Training Center. Do you do second story windows now, inside and outside?
We do window cleaning from the inside for Border Patrol. They're about 10 feet, I believe. But we do window cleaning from inside and out.
Yeah, but second story would take some special equipment and a lot more dangerous.
We're fully trained to do that as well.
But you don't do any now?
We don't, but we do have.
Have you done it in the past? Second story outside?
Second story, no. But we're very competent in agency. We know we can.
Thank you. Thank you. Officer Messick or Officer Brown or even Officer Sawyer, I'm looking for like the bottom line of like, was it security mostly your concern?
I'll have to defer, sir. I
Please.
was not part of the evaluation process. I didn't see the RFPs.
Okay, thank you.
Mainly documents.
I know you're in
So-
on it, but that's okay.
Just to make sure I'm answering your question correctly, you're asking about the security of the facility?
Well, what
or-
is your main concern? What was the overriding concern that you're looking at Milo's? Is it security or is it something else?
It's just overall the service of the building, maintaining it for years to come. It's going to need to last our city, our community, and provide for a growing police department, providing police service. We want to take care of our.
Yes, but you mentioned security, so that's a concern.
Oh, yes.
Right, okay. So I'm just wondering how heavy, how big of a factor that was in your decisions and your, evaluation, security, and how do you determine that?
Well, so going through the matrix and viewing the different scopes of work that were provided, it just happened that Milo had an overall scoring which was higher, and it was based on what they outlined in their scope of work. So to just specifically target, like to say it was what they mentioned about security, it just wasn't the security. It was the overall picture that they painted with their proposal. I don't know if that answers your question or not. It's
Because we now have a recommendation coming before us.
I have one question, just my
Yes, ma'am.
question on, I just want to make sure that I understand. So this contract is for $191,000, which includes a portion of the police department to clean a portion of it along with the other buildings. But the police department also has 2 full-time custodians?
yes.
So this is 2 full-time custodians in addition to this contract?
But the contract is only for 3 days.
Yes.
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 Mhm.
And so, and just for my clarification, the primarily security and window cleaning is the issue here.
No, well,
Because
if you
that's what
want
I'm hearing.
from, yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm hearing. Those are the questions being asked. As for the police department, it's just the overall maintenance of our new facility. To make sure that it lasts us through the years.
Okay.
Whew. All right, you guys, we are down.
So one more question to WTC. You mentioned to use disabled, I'm sorry, how did you mention that, your staff?
Yes, we actually work with San Diego Regional Center. We work with people with developmental disabilities. We have crews. We've been doing this for the past 36 years with Border Patrol going into their facility with security.
Yes.
The naval.
Similar to ARC that does
Very
contracting
similar,
with
correct.
cleaning. Yes,
Yes.
okay. And they would be the ones doing the work.
For this one particularly, we're gonna probably do a little mix where we'll have just regular janitors. They're all fingerprinted through the US Border Patrol. And there will be days where we will employ our people with developmental disabilities to help and assist other minor tasks to actually help expedite the cleaning. And this is how we've been managed our contracts, and we've never had any issues.
That's just one of my concerns about, second story outside, that you're not going to be using
Oh,
the
no,
San
no,
Diego
no,
regional
no. There are
people.
certain tasks that are not allowed, like we do stripping and waxing, carpet care, and it's all done by janitors. Our people don't come in. We keep them very safe. But this is something that they
Thank you.
do and they enjoy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'd like to, can we vote or how we?
Now we're looking for a recommendation to adopt resolution number 2552. Do I have a first and a second?
I make a recommendation that we go ahead and accept as written.
What was that, Mike? Can you repeat that?
As the recommendation, to accept the
Amended.
recommendation.
For Milo?
Correct.
Do we have a second? Did you second? Councilmember Martin?
No, I was just, I didn't hear him clearly, so I just
Oh.
wanted him to, to clarify.
So we need a second?
I would make a recommendation that we approve the WTC Center for the contract.
I'll second that.
Which one did you?
WTC.
WTC.
Oh, WTC. So.
I'm gonna go ahead and reset the vote because it's a different vote now.
Yes, because, okay, we're gonna get some clarity here because we had a first by Councilmember Crankshaw for for Milo, second by, nobody second, correct?
His motion died for
Yeah,
lack
his
of a
motion
second.
died.
Okay,
because
his
no one
motion
seconded,
died
yeah.
and, Mayor Pro Tem asked that we go with WTC. So we have a second, and you have a second for that, Councilmember Camarena, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now we are voting for WTC.
Right here it says Milo.
Yeah, is that,
So we would just,
That was a recommendation, so it's still gonna say Milo, but if you're voting for the WTC, we'll make that, the notation on the minutes.
Then we
Okay,
would vote no here because it says the Milo.
No, she's going to revise it, so pretend Milo
Yes.
says
Is
WTC.
WTC.
so this is
In this
for,
one instance.
this is for the,
This is
This-
for
WTC.
this is for the motion and the second of WTC.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes 4-0 with one no.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now we are going to have a presentation by Abraham Campos for the approval of change order number 2 to Martin Construction, Inc.
Hi, good evening,
Hi,
Honorable
good
Mayor and council
evening.
members. So tonight you'll see a series of items requesting quite a bit of funding, but also delivering some very good news.
Yay, we like good
Yes.
news. Bring the good news.
Please.
Bring the good news. Yeah.
All right, so here is a completion report in a way for the CDBG sidewalks and improvements project. Over the last few months, we've been hard at work, and the contractor has been hard at work at completing sidewalks with approved funding from CDBG allocations for the last couple of years. And this is a chance to get those allocations that were promised by council to the residents and get them in the ground. So we divided the project into 3 different schedules or areas. Here are the areas. And Schedule A shows a bunch of little dots. Those are meant to represent curb ramp locations. Schedule B as well, some other areas that have curb ramp extension, curb ramp at the corners. And Schedule C, which is a combination of ramps as well as a lot of driveways in that area. You'll see that every location is either near a school or in between parks or similar to those extents. So the idea of CDBG is to target. We try to target a path of travel and areas that are lacking, obviously, these improvements. The report to date is that we have installed about 279 linear feet of curb and gutter. We have also installed about 2,747 linear feet of sidewalk. That's times 4 feet or 5 feet, depending on the width of the sidewalk, you can get the area. But in terms of linear feet, just how long the sidewalk is about almost 2,800 linear feet. 41 curb ADA ramps at different locations as was shown below, and 19 driveways that were connecting the pathways between the sidewalk. So just on the sidewalk alone, that's about 50 homes. If you have a frontage of a home, about 50 to 60 feet frontage of the home, that's about 50 homes worth of sidewalk that were done throughout. Some example locations is here on 6th Street between Ross Avenue and Sandalwood. As you can see from the picture on the left, the driveway was on ADA, and then there was no sidewalk. Moving along, it was replaced with new curb gutter and sidewalk. So now there's a pathway between Ross and going into Sandalwood in that location. This location at Hope and Orange, the ramp was replaced. As you can see, there was no ramp. This is very typical situation that we're trying to address on this east side of town. And this is before and after location, for example. Here at Fairfield and Ohio, same idea. We have those ramps that were original to the areas, and there's no ADA on them. Obviously, ADA is not a new standard anymore, but now we need to address some of these locations. What you notice in some of them is kind of hard to see, but every time that we replace a ramp at a corner, usually the connecting piece of sidewalk on either side is not at ADA either, so we got to do a little transition. So you'll see new concrete being extended. And that's typical at a lot of these. Same on this one that I just showed you before. You'll see also that we had to extend the concrete past the corner ramp. All of those extra little pieces of concrete add up. And it's hard to judge when doing the design of what it's going to be. You have to go set it up and say, all right, how far do we need to go to match it? The other thing that we came across in these areas of town is when we were removing the roadway, there ended up being concrete under the roadway in some areas. So those there were areas of town, for example, that didn't have storm drain. And apparently we found out in the 60s or so, we added storm drain lines, inlets. So the prior concrete here is visible, but in other areas it's been paved over. So when we were demoing to install the ramp, we were not only demoing the curb ramp, so we had to start demoing the street, demoing concrete under the street, and added up cost to those corners. So here's another sample. This is on Waterman and Driftwood. Again, just extending beyond the location. This is the before and after. And Vine Street is a very typical location. It's more in the middle of town, but you can see this driveway. I'm assuming the owner placed at some point, but there's no connection, right? Either way, the driveway was an ADA compliance. So now the after is an ADA compliant driveway and the sidewalk going right across. Yes.
I have a question, Mr. Campos. Go back to there you go. What is that? I mean, I see these little yellow bump things all over the place. What are they intended for?
They're for folks that are visually impaired. As they're walking about, they have little dots. So when they have their cane, it makes a special sound to recognize that it's a transition point between a pedestrian path and a roadway.
Oh,
the color is the typical is yellow, but there's no requirement for it to be yellow. The standard basically just says a contrasting color. And bright yellow contrasts with about anything. So, so it's out there. But in other areas, you see communities that choose a garnet or or a gray, or depending on what's surrounding in the area. Disneyland, I'm sure you don't see this. They have their own colors to match Disneyland, right? But in general, the bumps, the truncated domes, are meant for the cane to identify the location.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here again, more on Vine Street, you have the situation with the driveways just to create that slant. So in this case, we have to do a modified driveway, which is a very, very wide, basically driveway that's shared between the two properties to bridge them. So the reason we're here, obviously, is because we need a little bit of money. So change order number 1 was approved within contingency amounts. But change order number 2, which adds an additional 1,287 square feet of transition sidewalks, as I mentioned earlier, more curb and gutter replacements, and as well as asphalt concrete repairs. Those turn out to be more expensive just because of the small quantities and the detail on it. So the big cost of that was on that asphalt concrete item that we ended up incurring a cost. We are looking for additional 30 calendar days as there were more existing conditions and the contractor required additional days to cover the extra work that was required to complete the contract. What we have here is a complicated slide, but some key takeaways is that initially the project, this is the original approval from council, CDBG funds and 626,000 and Measure P and 126,000 for a total of 752. Right now, if we approve change order number 2 as being recommended, that adds a total of 222,000 to the contract. There's some miscellaneous costs that we built in that we might have not discussed before. Is labor compliance services, printing of the ad in the IV press, and a new one that I'm asking here is we're not done. There's going to be a change order number 3, which is a balancing change order. We're quantifying that number. I want to set a budget right now so I don't have to come back and ask for this, or if you wish, we can come back and ask for that additional 70,000. Right now, or whatever ends up being, we don't expect it to go over that number. But I just want to create the budget for it right now as a revised contingency.
So right now, it's included in the total?
Right now, that 70,000 contingency request above the change order number 2 item is included there at that 984,000.
Okay, thank you.
And what we found out is after looking for different funding is we were able to locate the the fiscal year 24-25 allocation from CDBG and included as part of this project, which allowed us to eliminate from the proposed funding the Measure P. So that 126,000 is now returned to Measure P and swap, and we can use CDBG funds, which are used for this intended use. And the balance is we're going to be requesting that we use TDA Article 3. We get just for background, TDA Article 3 is a pedestrian fund, it's pedestrian and transit oriented bicycle fund. Cannot be used for anything else. It's not general fund. We get this from ICTC through their allocations. We get about 30 to 40,000 per year. We bank it, we let it build, because with 30, 40,000, you see the prices that I'm presenting right now, you can't do anything. So we bank it for a while. Once it builds up, right now we have 250,000 available. So now we can start using it, and we're trying to use 82,000 of this. That covers the contingency request as well as the additional work, and salvages the Measure P from this project. And that basically delivers the whole budget by utilizing the CDBG and that was allocated for fiscal year 24-25 by prior council authorizations. So the end result is we're enhancing accessibility, improving pedestrian safety. We're upgrading and promoting more walkable living spaces in the city environment, and we're investing in the long term. So obviously this is concrete and pathways. So this is an improvement that will last over time. So with that, I'm looking for your approval to authorize the budget as presented and authorize change order number 2 to Martin Construction as presented, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Do you have any questions, council?
I have a question. So going back to the slide that has the additional scope of work, the 1,237 linear square feet or square feet.
Mhm.
And then I'm not sure if you have that slide, but.
Is it this one?
No, it's just not coming up. But yes, that's the one. And then you have another 78 and then the 1226. And so roughly, I don't know, 2,500 square feet or linear feet and square feet. In this world costs $222,000.
Unfortunately, it's incredibly expensive, and we knocked the contractor down. We field measured. They provided time and material, documentation, and all of that, because we felt exactly as you're feeling right now.
Do we have, as a part of our crew, because I would imagine it seems that this is kind of a something that reoccurs. We go out to bid, we get a bid to do a scope of work, and it never falls under that scope of work cost. And we're here and here again. As a matter of fact, you're here to even ask for the one that hasn't even come up yet. And I'm making light of that, but do we have a crew that could prep out this? Because I imagine whoever we're going under contract with is saying, look, we didn't anticipate this. This is beyond, this is why we need more time, because usually there's a time stamp to this thing, and we need more time, and this is more work, obviously. And so if we're going to do it, it's going to cost us much more. But do we have a crew to get that prepped, ready to go, so it's exactly what they bidded on, so there is no additional cost? Because I imagine that if we had a crew that could do it, it would be at least a third of that cost. So I guess my question, do we have that capability in-house?
If it's a means and methods, so once the contractor takes over the site, is there insurance? So we cannot go in there without causing liability or insurance items. We would have to go ahead and pre-work before a contract is awarded.
Well, and and during your presentation, you said that you found a lot of these items come up as a part of the demo process, and that it wasn't anticipated.
Correct. The issue is if we go and demo ahead of time, it would be open.
No, I get that.
Months.
Yeah, we have a major concern with that. I just thought if they demoed a specific area they said, hey, look, this is not what we thought it was going to be. We come in and we get it set ready for them to do the scope of work that they were going to do. But you're saying it's not just that easy.
No, for liability issues. It's very different. And one thing that I want to make everybody aware, when you're working in existing conditions, older areas of town, the records are not all there. We can go in and find and guess, but it's very different than when you can price new construction. If we're doing brand new construction on virgin land, it's very easy to price it out and know what's there and what's not. Every time we go and have to take that, remove something, that's the unknown. So whenever we do construction, which happened even on police and other projects, I don't start breathing until we start going up, because then I know what we don't know, right? So it's and in this case, all of these costs happen as soon as we opened it up, right? There's nothing that we could have do to know what was there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I did not know that we couldn't actually go in and make the repairs to get it prepped because of the insurance reason. So I do appreciate that information. But that was really catching me, and it's been kind of catching my eye as we go through these. So
And unfortunately, you'll find it whenever we have old projects or rehabilitations, we do what we can as to provide a lot of information. But if it's new construction, we have plenty of projects that is new construction, don't tend to be right on the money.
And the final thing that I have is, in this case, you have found a funding source outside of the general fund that would cover not only the increase, but it would cover the contingency that you'd be looking for.
That's
as well.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, council. Can I get a first and a second, please?
I move that we approve the change order to Martin Construction.
I will second that.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Abraham.
Thank you.
And
Abraham,
now you may stay right there.
Well,
Yes,
just
I'm not
one-
going anywhere.
Just to pass along, thank you and congratulations. Tell your people that have been working out there in the hottest weather of the year. Man, tearing up streets and tearing up sidewalks, tearing up driveways and tearing up curbs and digging it out, framing them perfectly, pouring that stuff in the hottest weather. They've been doing a great job. And especially when you showed Vine Street, one of the most impacted places in our city, when you drive down Vine and there's cars parked in front of their houses, there's passage for one car only at a time. So for you I'm just so proud of you guys taking that on and moving through the city slowly, but doing this and having funding for it, making your funding. That is, I'm really proud of you guys. Tell your guys, thank you.
I appreciate it. It's been a
Big
joint
thank
effort
you.
between staff as well as the contractor. The contractor's been very good to work with, actually.
That's great.
So, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Number 16 is also Mr. Abraham Campos. He's going to talk about the approval plans.
17. I said, and number 17.
And number 7.
See, Abraham.
Oh,
Campos,
you're
yeah.
all the way down. Okay. We
Yeah,
got you
for
for
a little
2 more
while.
presentations.
So this is a new construction, so I hope
See,
to not come
Abraham
back and
Campos.
ask for comments. I really do. So this is Jacaranda Gardens. It's a continuation of a grant that was submitted and applied for between was Chelsea, Adriana Nava, her department, engineering, great collaboration, finance. Everybody did a bunch of work to get this grant approved. A total of about $15 million grant. But for this item, as part of that money, $2 million was allocated for offsite work. So you'll see that the work as I go to it is not exactly near or immediately adjacent to this project. However, in order to secure points for this very highly competitive grant, we had to provide additional projects to connect and provide transit facilities and also benefit our community while doing it. So before we go further, I want to just bring the public up to speed on some definitions on this project, because once we get into the transportation world, we start with new lingo. So one of them is a share. So this project will include sharrows. I'll show you where. And a sharrow is an arrow for sharing the road. Sharrow. So when you see this in the ground, as in this picture, it means that a bike can use a full lane. in this area. So you'll see them in in big cities. We have them here. They're a little faded, but we need to refresh some of ours that we have in the city. It's a very popular thing here in California and used to define bikeways. Landscape median, same self-explanatory. It's the median is a portion in the center of the road dividing traffic lanes. They can be landscape or non-landscape. This is just in town in front of AutoZone on the top right. And on the bottom right is a buffered bike lane. So what a buffered bike lane is just a bike lane. And the buffered part of it is the hashed portion. So it creates a separation between the travelway and the bike lane to improve bike safety. So now that we're all up to speed on the lingo, let's move forward. So Broadway, the project scope includes landscape medians and buffer bike lanes on Bradshaw Avenue. This would be basically between the fire station and Walmart and extending up to Costco, more or less, up to that first driveway into Costco. The landscape includes right now, well, going back right now, as you can see, there's nothing. There's just a painted area between the lanes on Bradshaw. The new scope will install similar to what you saw in front of AutoZone. It will include curb gutters, and in the middle will be filled in with rockscape. We're looking at incorporating irrigation and some live vegetation in that area as well, and we'll advise of that going forward. Then on Waterman Avenue, between Lincoln and Crookshank, we're doing what's called a road diet. That one I forgot to mention. But a road diet is we get the road and put it in a treadmill. No, of course not. But it is transitioning from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, for example. And in this case, in Waterman Avenue, it's got 4 lanes, but we've already transitioned it in front of the Jacaranda apartments into a 2-lane, one way in each direction, a median with bike lanes. So you add the bike lane. So what you end up doing is you take out a travel lane and you replace it with bike lanes. So that's what's the layout that's being proposed on Waterman. You can see a travel lane, a buffered and bike lane. Somewhere there is a bike symbol and the park. So obviously in Waterman, we do not want to take the parking away because of the multifamily as well as the park. So that's part of the project that's being proposed. The next area is Waterman Avenue to extend south of Lincoln and into Villa. Here, obviously, we do not have the room. We do not want to take the parking away from the residents. It's a single-family residential area, so we're installing sharrows to help define and connect the bikeway onto Villa Avenue. The most significant, though, and impactful, I think, for our area is the connection of 12th Street between Oleander Avenue and Pico Avenue. Prior agendas, I've discussed that this was up and coming. Here it is. So as you can see right now in the picture, Pico Avenue ends at Villa. So this is on 12, more or less just on Oleander looking north. So Pico Avenue would be somewhere here in the background going east and west. This was not possible because it was an open drain a few years ago. ID pipelining with their program. We paid 25% of that cost for the pipelining through LTA funds for roadway. Here's a roadway. This will build a new street between Pico and Oleander, connecting 12th Street from our backyard here from Central Union and so forth, all the way onto Target. So it'd be another way to connect the city and relieve some of the traffic on Imperial Avenue per se, in front of Bonds or that area uptown, or A Street, because we now have a new connector on 12th Street. It's curb, gutter, sidewalk, and streetlights as well on this one. So as I mentioned, we received $2.240 HHSC funding, cannot say that. And we have estimated an engineer's estimate of $2,380,000. We will bridge that gap with local LTA funding, which is our Measure D. That's the funding that we utilize for road projects. And that'll bridge the gap, no impact to the general fund. This is a tentative budget at this point because once we open the bids, we'll know really how much it is. But any gap that we can expect, we expect to be able to cover from local LTA funding for Measure D funds. tentative schedule is we're here tonight approving plans and specs. We have to go out to bids, get the bids, review them, come back to council to award a contract, and then we can start construction. So there's tentative dates. We're hoping that before the holidays, maybe because of holidays, we push it to January so that we don't have to deal with those stop and goes construction. But more or less, we're looking to have this done by the middle of next year. With that, I'll look for a motion to approve plans and specs for the Jacaranda Apartments HSC, Grand Pike Lane and Street Improvement Projects, and authorize staff to release for public bidding. Any questions?
Do you have any questions, council? I get a first and a second, please?
I'll motion to approve.
I second.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. And number 17 is also Mr. Abraham Campos, the
All
police
right.
station project budget update.
Hi again, good evening, honorable mayor and council members. So, very nice project right up, really literally in front of our street here. And if you have any detailed operational questions, we do have PD here that can assist with that. But for my part is getting the project constructed, right? So, just some history. Even before 2021, there were technical studies that the PD undertook for this project. But in 2021, the design contract was awarded to Arthur Watkins. In April 2023, we issued the bonding that was necessary for this project. In November 2023, we approved the total project budget and awarded the contract for construction to Barnhart Reese. And in 2025, just a couple months ago, we took an action where we ended up saving or returning Measure P funding in the amount of $2 million that was previously allocated by council for this project, and we returned it to Measure P because Andy Heath and the Finance Department found that, hey, you know what, we have found, we have been building bond interest on the earnings, so that's a savings on the measure. So with that in mind, just provide some updates here. As it stands, the project is on schedule and within budget.
Wow.
So as it stands right now.
That's amazing.
And so it is amazing. It's a huge
Yes,
project.
yes.
We've had the contractor and the CM working on it. The initial back a few years ago, delivery was the first quarter of 2026. That still stands.
How exciting.
We're looking at substantial completion by mid-October of 2025. That's when police department begins to move in to the new facilities so that they can vacate the old one and allow demolition and construction continue. So we're getting there. So here's a couple pictures. This is 12th Street, which is now open, as you can drive. We wanted to make sure that 12th Street is open before school started. Just a picture right there on the bottom of the locker room area, still under construction. But in general, there have been a lot of change orders with the project, right? Which is some of them not really design related. A lot of them were additions or things that came up that as management staff transitions. And when this was designed, it was a previous chief of police, and now we have a new chief of police, and now we have an acting chief of police. Things happen, right? And everybody has their own taste and
Can
flavor.
we just blame the acting chief? And
Oh, he made so many changes. No, he doesn't. Just kidding. None.
they were all for the best and for improvement purposes.
Of course, they always. But there's been a lot of work that has happened, and I can't speak highly enough of the PD staff on site. They've been very involved and very proactive, making sure that they get the facility that they deserve and that they've looked for, right? One of the big items initially was when council awarded the contract is whether or not to build the shooting range. And council made it very clear, hey, find us the savings on the project and we'll add it in. It was one of the additives. They worked diligently to find the savings and we were able to add the shooting range into the project. So there's been other items beyond our control, asbestos testing, There were changes on the foundation design. It's a huge building, so cost and foundation changes add up. There's IID power and transformer, so there's bills that came in from the IID, and in many cases, for logistical purposes, it's better for the city to pass through those costs and have the contractor pay those bills as opposed to the city, because there's critical path items and construction needs to move forward. The contractor can issue a check much quicker than we can many times, and we don't want to slow the project, because the moment that we slow the project, there's costs associated with that. So some of these items are items that were within budget, but we passed the cost to be paid through the contractor, such as the ID power and transformers. So there was a bill for my ID, significant bill, and we had to use that to get the project moving forward for temporary power. There was a change on the emergency generator. We added the building furniture. That was not a per scope cost. Obviously, officers need desks and chairs and lockers and things like that, right? City could have done a separate contract under the budget or expedited, and the coordination and logistics would have been better if we go through the contractor. So that's what we chose to do. So some of these change orders are basically providing a functional facility. So to that extent, we've added $2.5 million as the first bullet shows. But we show that in a crystal ball of what's possible and outstanding out there, there's about $2.5 million in stuff that is needed for the project to be operational, and things that are, this is a really good time to get them done for cost savings and in the future. So one of the scope changes, for example, is a fire system upgrades. So PD made some recommendations. We agreed, and we upgraded the fire system upgrades in certain rooms. In certain rooms, we, although allowed and is perfectly fine by code to have fire sprinklers, there's other systems that use don't use water. It's like a gas that turns it off. So critical infrastructure like certain IT rooms and things like that, we swapped that at a cost, but it's obviously it's a make sense. Let's do this now. Dispatch consoles need to be added. Obviously, that's need to be that's a functionality issue. It wasn't part of the original contract because usually cities can contract out separately to bring them in, but in the interest of getting things done faster, and because we don't have the luxury as we did in the library construction project to have an operating facility and then transition over a few months to the new one, we need to speed everything up. We basically, the moment that they cut the old facility, they need to be operational immediately on the new one. The 911 phone needs to be answered.
Yeah.
So it introduced a bunch of different complications and logistical challenges to the project, and why we were choosing how we're choosing to award these change orders. While we're at it, and while we're doing construction, we've identified something that's been discussed for a long time but hasn't been added to the scope, and that's the parking shade, the shade structures. Obviously, right now the project was bid out and awarded with no regard to shade, and that was a budget decision, right? It's another $1 million or so just to add shade to that area.
Wow.
And this we're looking at that to be solar powered shade. So the cost on the investment, return on the investment will be there. So at some point it will pay for itself, and then we'll actually have a savings in electricity, right? So we looked at the cost benefit of providing normal stick shade versus solar, and it makes sense. After I believe 10 or so years, don't quote me on that number, it'll pay for itself, and then we're making money. So that's something that we'd like to add. We're adding obviously the audio and visual system for conference rooms. Those are usually owner provided. We've selected the gear and the contractor, and that's being proposed to be added into the contract for the conference and speakers and PA systems and all of that makes the facility functional. There's other things that were not a necessity, and we don't know how. Building signage was not included initially, so it would be a nice building. It would not say El Centro Police. So we're choosing to have the building say El Centro Police on the outside. Thank you for PD, actually staff, and I think that was written by English, I remember, that caught that, and we were able to get it in time so that it was sorted out and added into the building. So some of the examples of the things that are not yet funded. So as I mentioned, we're within budget and we still have 1.26 million in contingency at this point left. But our crystal ball says that we have 2.5 million out there. So before we get there and we get into a point where we cannot approve anything else and basically stop the contractor on his track, I'm asking for the budget to be able to continue the project moving forward and award some of these items. And your agenda includes a full list of the items that are being asked and what's included in that $2.5 million. But that's all that's known in the crystal ball. There's similar to the previous request, we still have not demolished the old building. And as you might mention in my prior comment, I'm not happy until we start going back up. So I don't know what secrets will be there when we start demolishing. We've done everything we could. We've done actual radar penetration of the area where basically a contractor goes in and tries to find what's under the ground. But technology can only do so much. There might be additional asbestos or lead removals that we don't know. We just don't know. All right. So for that, I'm asking a smaller amount compared to the original 4 million contingency on the project. This is a 550,000 contingency on the project because we're very close to the end. So this is a smaller percentage compared to the overall project. It's a big amount because it's a big contract. So with that, I said we have 2.5 million that are out there plus 550,000 in contingency minus the available contingency that's within budget right now. We have a shortfall of $1.79 million, not a tiny amount, but we have a way to pay for it. So,
all right, Mr. $1 Million Man, talk to us.
All right, so with great effort here with Liz and Andy and so on the budget, one thing that the project did not initially account for was the bond interest. And this is, if you want to see a matter of luck in a way, the interest rates have been higher this last few years that historically. So the money that we got from the bond just sitting there before the construction started accumulated interest to the tune of $3 million.
Wow.
So what that allows us to do is not use the Measure P. So right now, this is, I guess, this column I'm highlighting is the budget as originally approved. This is the budget as approved in the current fiscal year 26 budget. So as you can see, this 2 million that I mentioned was not suggested or was not approved in the current budget, but it added the interest. So what I'm proposing, or what we're proposing as staff, is keep that interest, use it for the funding, and from that $2 million original, ask for 600. The remaining 1.4 million can stay in Measure P, unutilized, basically a savings from the original approval. But with this, what this does is allows everything that I just mentioned to be funded, if that makes any sense. So any questions on this one slide? This, basically, this would be the budget slide for the project.
No, you went and found that money, huh?
Yeah, so we looked, and Andy and Liz, thank you. So what this does, it restores 600 of the Measure P that were originally allocated for the project and puts them back in fiscal year 26, and not the other 1.4 that were previously approved. It allows us to fully utilize the bond interest towards the project. Please note that if we continue to receive a little bit more interest, that Measure P commitment of 600,000 might go down. But we'll see between now and the end of the project. Correct? Yes. So the outcome here is we still at least return 1.4 million of the original 2 million from Measure P. It gets everything, including the shade structures, some turnstiles that were added for security and access, and other items that were part of the project. And it still keeps us with a 550,000 contingency just to get us to the end. If we don't And obviously, we will be the source of that contingency. If we don't use that 550K contingency, it'll just go back and stay with Measure P. So any questions on that? With that, I'm looking to see if you can, if we're looking for approval of the revised police station budget.
Look to my colleagues. We have any questions?
I have a few.
A few.
So based on everything you said, did we miss the mark by $5 million?
No.
No.
No, not
I'm
at all.
way off.
Way off. No, again, if we don't approve the shade structure and some of the other not originally in scope projects, we would need the budget. But we have an opportunity right now to, based on the funding source interest, to add all of this wish list items that are really necessary.
Well, I mean, they were necessities, but they weren't necessities at the beginning. They're necessities now.
There wasn't the budget.
It wasn't
There
part of
wasn't
that
the
budget that was
so it wasn't
approved.
included. So in the original budget. So that's why they were not never bid or awarded on.
I might be able to answer a couple of those questions and help Abraham out here a little bit. So when the police department project was first went out to bid and the scope of the project did not include covered parking. We were told right up front that was not part of the budgeted items. It was out of control or out of the span of control for our budget at the time. Now that we have this interest budget, this interest coming back into our budget, we're hoping to and asking for council's permission tonight to put that back into our budget to allow us to do things like covered parking, which the police department had prior to construction, but was not part of the initial cost. There were some other oversights, things like signage were not built into the budget. And we didn't notice that until construction started. We said, well, where's the signage? When do we approve the signage? They had nothing anywhere identifying the building as a police department and so forth. Things like audio visual, things like you see here in council chambers tonight with the screens and everything in our conference rooms, in the community room that's being built there at the police department, that was outside of the scope of it, meaning that we still had to pay for it and we knew that we needed it. It just wasn't part of the budget. So this just gives us an opportunity to add back to that and to take advantage of some things that were overlooked during the original process, the signage being one of them and turnstiles be the second. And the turnstiles secure the second floor from the first floor and prevent just open access. You have to be buzzed through and so forth for security reasons.
Yeah, and I appreciate the clarity on that. I was obviously a part of any of this, so I'm learning as I go. And I see that Measure 1.4 going back into Measure P is always going to be a good thing because we're able to reutilize that. The bond is basically, we're saying that was kind of a savings for this account, for this project. And that's where you're looking to reach into it.
Mhm.
And I get all that. I think I personally pause on a $550 or $50,000 contingency because you use this crystal ball thing. I don't want that to be just, okay, I think that we're in such a number now that I think that we need to look at the things that we're putting into this at the end. 550,000, that's great, but I think it should come through council just to confirm these items because if you look at this huge project, it can't be just something that we want to put in there. Not all this stuff, we're not ordering all this stuff through the contractor, are we?
I'm sorry, like what items?
All the items you brought up, the furniture, stuff like that, that's not coming through the contractor.
Subcontracts.
Subcontracts. Yeah. So, because you were talking about slowing the contractor down,
Mhm.
this is the finished products that you're talking about and the items that need to get us operational.
Is the contractor scope is basically whatever's tied down and fixed. This desk would be contractor
Right.
delivered. The
Right.
computer would not, right? So that's the items that are being added. And just in scope, this slide at the bottom shows the net increase. So overall, it's you mentioned the $5 million number. So we're going 1.78 million over the original 49 total budget. So it's 3.6% over the original
Okay.
total budget.
I think I was taken a little bit back because you had a slide up there that said 2,500,000 that was over. And now then there was another slide that just said 2,500,000. So I was kind of doing my simple
Yeah.
mic math.
It is tricky because
Mike math, huh?
So Again,
D minus.
I want to be sure that we're making sure. I've always believed in the covered parking. I mean, that's in my world, I think that's a no-brainer. No matter what building we build, we should always be looking at covered parking. And I love the idea of solar, 100%. I think how are things being built anymore without solar? Using that, I mean, I don't know, but what is your request in this one? If you could clarify that for me at the very end.
The 600.
It's just to allow us to utilize the bond interest, which we really can't use for much other things for this project. And the bottom line is 600,000 in Measure P from the original approval.
And that's not bad, just thinking that they're gonna utilize the bond interest.
Yes.
And Mr. Campos, the 600,000 from Measure P is what you're going to set aside for the contingencies in the event that you would need it.
Yes,
Okay.
in an event, yes, it's very close. We're asking for 550,000. That could be that Measure P.
But you rounded it up to 6, and if, in case you don't use it, then you put it back in the Measure P. Okay.
Yes, and I have no problem if you want to see us come back with additional change order. Barring that it's an emergency and we just gotta get the work done.
Right.
We could come back to council to approve future change orders or that last 600,000 or 550,000 contingency amount.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So, yeah,
Okay.
I needed some clarification because you know what, it was a little confusing as I was reading through this to prepare, for the meeting, but, it's just like, as you were explaining, I was listening and I was like, okay, I get it now.
Okay, thank you. So it's,
All right.
and I'm happy to explain and come back. I think the direction that I'm getting is generally approve the 600,000, the bond interest for the project. And as well as coming back for, if we reach into that 550 contingency, to come back to council for approval.
Oh, thank you. We
Yes.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
All right.
Thank you. May I get a first and a
I
second, please?
would like to move that we approve the revised police station budget.
And I will second that, please.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Mr.
Thank you.
Abraham
Thank you.
Campos.
Abraham, great job.
You're going to earn your spot up here at the.
Wait.
You're coming on up.
You got the lieutenant already. Wait, I don't even have to introduce him. Come on up, Lieutenant Thompson.
Promise not to ask for money.
Oh, okay. Well, then, you know what? Then you're welcome. No.
Madam
You need
Mayor?
some water?
Madam Mayor, I just want to get a point of clarification. Was staff clapping at the presentation or clapping that the presentation was concluded?
Over.
Make sure. Over. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Mayor, City Council, I appreciate your time. And I don't often hear people thank the city attorney, so I also appreciate your help. I imagine they're kind of like cops that people become more thankful when they need their help.
Yes.
So, I'm here back again to go over the change of the camping ordinance and the illegal storage of personal items out in the public. Originally, we had kind of adopted a version of the governor's ordinance. It was a little complicated. Your direction was to make sure that we get it right the first time. So we went over it again, and with the help of the city attorney, we kind of started from scratch and realized the ordinance that we had a good legal foundation. It was simple, easy to enforce. The only thing we really needed to change was the fact that it was an infraction. We needed to change it to a misdemeanor. And some of the examples that we have recently are community relations unit officer has gone to court on 3 different individuals who are just absolute habitual offenders. They're a nuisance to the public. They're refusing all help. They're kind of like your classic case study. And because it's an infraction, he had to appear before the traffic referee. And one gentleman didn't show up to court, and the traffic referee said, well, what do you want me to do? Issue an a warrant? And the officer's like, yeah. And he goes, well, I'll think about it. And he ended up going back to court and no, it wasn't a knock on the traffic referee. There's some issues with the enforcement of it actually being an infraction. And then I got an update on the third case today where there was $100 fine imposed. But again, he didn't show up to court. So he's still a habitual offender out in public, nuisance to the business owners. And, so this change will just give us one more tool to be able to take care of the people that are absolutely, there's no other options for our officers.
And we greatly appreciate you all. Definitely. Any questions, colleagues?
I have a question actually maybe to our city attorney and then perhaps to you, Lieutenant, that now that we have a city ordinance and look, I think that we would always like to find the lowest level of solving these problems, but unfortunately you're right, there are some. One of the things I know with officers is it gets very, when there's no teeth to it. Basically, if I make an arrest, it's not going to go anywhere. And with the misdemeanor, it's the prosecution part because this doesn't go through the district attorney, correct? It would go through our city attorney?
No, it goes through the city prosecutor.
City prosecutor.
You have a separate city prosecutor who prosecutes your ordinances in criminal court.
And have we?
Yes, once.
No,
He
no,
has-
but I mean, have we had a conversation with the city prosecutor about our desire to push this through? Or?
We sent him the ordinance. We showed him the change we wanted to make. He has in fact successfully prosecuted these before, and he agreed that this is what works for him and that he is happy with this in front of the judge.
Yeah, I just want to give the officers as much support. If we're going to change the ordinance, let's actually have some consequence to the action. I guess is what I'm saying. So I understand what you're saying about going to in front of a traffic referee. That's not typically their regular type of case.
Yeah, this is that, but that's where they send your infractions.
No, I understand, but now that we're changing it,
Right. They should be a real judge.
it would be right.
Yes.
So
And to kind of prove your point about the officers wanting to use the least amount, even having this as an option.
Sure.
I don't like using the word threat, but it gives us leverage because even if we have the ability to arrest somebody and book them into jail, they quickly understand that the rules of engagement have kind of changed. And if we start, giving them the warnings and then we arrest them and they're like, oh man. So now we're like, hey, we can arrest you, or we could take you down to Heber and get you housed, or we could get you over to behavioral health or, substance use disorder program or something. But the mere fact that we have this for the leverage, it doesn't even mean that we have to arrest them. We just have another tool.
no, I understand the discretion's still with the officer but we're looking for the general deterrence that basically sometimes when you arrest someone, it affects that person immediately. It also affects everyone else who is engaged in that same type of activity, knowing that could be a consequence. So that general deterrence and having that ability with I just wanted to make sure from our standpoint that we have the support system out that would marry up with that. So.
And he said this would be modeled after other cities that he works with.
Yeah, he prosecutes the same one in other places. He's the contract prosecutor.
Okay.
And it's worked well. And you might want to point out that this does not have the 3 days waiting period.
So this, to simplify, we kind of scrapped the first revision. To simplify this, it gives our officers kind of immediate resolution. Again, we're thinking about the downtown business owners where they're kind of at their wits' end with some of the behavior that's just out of control. And we have to be able to solve it. If you're having an emergency with somebody, You can't have an officer tell you, well, I'll come back in 72 hours and we'll see how this plays out.
This is an urgency ordinance, which means if there is a 4/5 vote to pass it, it will take effect tonight.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yes. I appreciate the unlawful storage portion because, it's not so easy to just remove homeless people or relocate them because if they have all this trash, that is their stuff. But to us, it may look like trash, but it's their stuff. So this unlawful storage will help with that as well and moving.
That's correct. And we did discuss this at a city level at the homeless task force meeting where code enforcement, public works was involved. This is not, I don't want anyone to think that it's going to be like a reckless enforcement. We want to take into consideration people's property,
Yes.
their rights,
Yes.
everything involved,
Yes.
and just make sure it's done appropriately.
Yeah. I think this is just a good step in the right direction that we're going to have a lot more steps of coming with dealing with this whole issue. And we thank you for working on this, Betsy.
Now, may I get an adoption of the ordinance number 2504? Can I have a first and a second,
I would
please?
like to motion to approve
I'll
the
second.
changes to the ordinance.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ordinance passes 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, we did have a blue slip. I do apologize. For number 18, Mr. Peter Rodriguez, if you would like to come speak on.
Thank you for that vote. As you know, I've been supportive of the police department's efforts in handling it. They've been very professional in my experience in dealing with seeing with them. There's a camp, there used to be a camp on Ross going south, or going east. By the railroad tracks, I haven't seen it anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I do see the one on LaBruce Street. It's getting smaller. Not getting as big as it used to by the railroad tracks. Used to be pretty big. In an eyesore, it's getting smaller because maybe it's getting hotter and the people that used to be there are leaving and taking their bikes or whatever they have there, their gear, they went somewhere. So either it's enforcement or they figure they can't be in that environment anymore. They went somewhere else, but they are being professional, in my opinion. Thank you.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, just for clarification, the location on LaBruche Avenue, as
Yes.
pointed out by Ms. Rodriguez currently, is located on Southern Pacific Railroad and IID easement. We've been working with both Southern Pacific and IID to get that cleared as quickly as possible. It's outside of the city purview currently.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving right along, we are, Adriana Nava, she's going to discuss any necessary actions regarding the approval of the bid documents for the Fraser Field.
Hello, Honorable Mayor and Council. It's great to be before you on this item for Fraser Field Eddie White Complex. So you may recall that we have a joint use agreement with the school district for half of the portion of the complex. And so happy to report that this complex is widely used. Reached out to Little League last season. They had 225 participants, which is in line with previous years. And I think their numbers are growing. The current parking lots at this facility are undersized for the amount of players, the families they receive, and so which leads to a bit of an overflow of parking. In 2021, we submitted an air pollution control district grant application, and we weren't awarded at the time, but in 2024, they reached out to us and said, oh, we have some money, you can move forward with this project. And so we established an agreement. This is what it currently looks like now. And so you'll see, this is the view facing west. So you'll see on the south side is the field. And then on the north side are various homes, some of which are landlocked. And so these are the homes that I'm referring to. There's one that fronts the street, and then there's a small apartment complex, and then there's an additional home as you head west. So what this project is going to do is, this is a design not completed by me. It was completed by Omar, and I want to give him full credit because he worked with Abraham Campos, our Public Works Director, on the design. There's a lot of special considerations because it's a very large area. I know in this image, it looks small, but you see the pictures. It's a vast area. So it includes a retention basin without a pump, mind you, and because why not a pump? Because it requires electricity, and it requires maintenance. And so special considerations were met also because of the residences to the north. And so the design took a bit of work. I won't, inform you of all the details, but overall it's 59 space parking lot. It does include a bioretention basin. And the design considerations were the landlocked homes, those residential parcels to the north. The alleyway will be used as an entrance to them. And it will also include asphalt dikes. This is when there is a storm event so that the water doesn't go into their property and create a nuisance for them. So there were definitely some design considerations. The other one that won't be paid out of the grant funds, but will be completed is upsizing of a water line from a 1-inch to a 4-inch, which is great because there are numerous properties along the line and we have it documented as a 1-inch line, which is not really sufficient for the number of units around it. Additionally, we will be installing a new driveway, new curb ramps and alley approaches, and then possible relocation of different traffic signs, just freshening up the space overall and making it nice for the community. So the grant funding we received is $342,012. Based on the estimate, today's pricing, the additional considerations we spoke about, we estimate the approximate amount will be $560,000. And while this is an estimate, we really won't know until we receive a bid on the items. We think this is based on our current pricing, but you never know until you get the bid. And so this is as close we'll get to it. I did reach out to finance on whether we should establish the budget now or when the bids come in. They suggested when the bids come in. For now, move forward with the documentation and going out to bid. And then once we receive bids, come to council on the funding, special funding considerations. So overall, we recommend that the council approve the bid documents and authorize staff to send the project out to bid. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Adriana, would it be, right there, would it be possible to add maybe just 2 more ADA stalls, or is there a reason why there's just 2?
No, we will include additional ADA stalls. This is just to include in the concept. This is just to give you an idea. The ADA stalls are the ones that are going to connect to the pathway. And so this will be a walking pathway that we will be adding. And then there will be an additional 5-foot asphalt pathway that's running east-west.
Okay. All right.
Yes, we will definitely be adding more. Our zoning code has a section on, based on the amount of spaces, the amount of ADA spaces required. And so we will be following that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank
Any other
you.
questions?
Any idea, Adrian, of timeline when this could get underway?
So we're going to go out to bid 30 days for that, review bids. That's another 3 weeks, come back to council. So I would say 6 months. I know it sounds crazy, but making the agendas, LSR review, it takes hopefully less, but I will say conservatively 6 months.
If 6 months sounds okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's not bad.
So would this be
Thank you.
considered a city parking lot?
Yes.
And then if so, would we have proper signage as far as parking and what rules or, because some might use this as their parking lot and so.
Yes, we do include special provisions in parking lots when needed. This, you mentioned on a couple of areas. One of them is that there is also a high pressure gas line, which will require some additional permits. And then IID also has a right of way in that area. So we will be going through that permitting process.
Okay.
And so there are additional steps that we will be taking because of the sensitive location in this area for this project.
Okay, thank you.
May I have a first and a second, please?
I move that we go forward with the bid application and going forward with the project.
I'll second.
Councilmember Camarena, we need your vote.
I don't have anything on my screen.
How about now?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, items number 20 and 21 have been moved to the next meeting, September 2nd.
Thank you. We will move on to number 22, discuss any necessary actions regarding the appointment of the voting and delegate and the alternates for the League of California City Annual Conference and Expo, October 8th through the 10th, 2025 in Long Beach. Do we have a recommendation for somebody who would like to be a delegate for this conference? I would like to nominate Marty.
Second.
Mr. Marty.
I'll accept that. Thank you.
You second that?
I'll accept that, yes. Second that,
I
yes, I
second
will.
that.
So, Madam City Clerk, do we just need to say, or do we need to vote?
You need to vote, and also we need an alternate too.
Yes, yes. So we vote on both? Okay, so the alternate?
I can nominate you as the alternate.
I second.
Thank you. Now, may we vote, please, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you so very much. And we did have a blue slip on this one as well. I have 22, yes. Mr. Peter Rodriguez.
That's the third time after your comment discussion for the record. But here's my comment. We are in challenging times right now in the council. And if Councilwoman Carter is selected through government code, Ms. Attorney, is she allowed to attend?
Pardon me?
If she's allowed to attend the conference due to the situation we have on the council with potential litigation.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, that's going to be transparent because it's not being transparent enough. And it needs to be open so that we don't have any misunderstandings. That's what I'm trying to get at. You're not transparent enough for the public.
The claim that Councilmember Carter has filed does not act her abilities to act as a council member or
Good.
chair.
Because that needs to be clear and give a clear message to the community. I want to make that very clear about that. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, we have no legislative actions right now. Yes, you would like to speak? Could you just, after you get through speaking, could you just fill out a blue slip and give it to our clerk, please? Yes, thank you.
Hello, my name is Adrienne Lawson, and I just want to know why item 20 and 21 were skipped again, because this is the second time. So I just want to know why.
Yes, we had a recommendation from a council member to pull it again. So,
I believe there was some, there's been a request to leave this open so they can take additional applications.
I didn't hear her.
She said
oh,
she
to
had-
take
oh, I'm
additional
sorry.
applications, right?
Yes, there was a request to continue this and take additional applications for these two and then vote on it at the September 1st meeting. Is that correct?
Second?
September 2nd?
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now moving on to our task force reports. I know we were dark and it's been summer, so if you have anything to report, Councilmember Crankshaw.
No, actually, I enjoyed the silence, so.
Okay. Councilmember Camarena.
Just that I attended the California JPIA conference in Oxnard. Just got back today, but it was a wealth of information to be able to move the city forward and ensure that we're following a lot of the laws and the guidelines that we have. So I was privileged to do that.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Councilmember Marroquin.
So, as Lieutenant Thompson had mentioned, we had a task force, a homeless task force meeting. And so, that was very fruitful in terms of concluding the revisions to the ordinance that we just passed this evening. And so was also in attendance at the El Centro Elementary School District Welcome Back event. I think Mr. Castro had promised that they were going to outdo themselves from last year's performance, and they really did. Those kids are very, very talented, and so that was quite enjoyable. And since since we were talking about the League of California Cities annual conference, so I received notification that I've been appointed by the Cal Cities president to the 2025 Resolutions Committee. And so I will be representing the Imperial, I think it's the Imperial County, at the conference, because one of the main reasons why they hold this annual conference is for policy decisions. And so I will be on the committee that makes the final decision. So, it's just like, I was very honored, it seems like, and I thought, oh, wow. So, yeah, total surprise. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you.
My report.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Elliott.
Yes, I don't want to take a lot of time, but I was at a swearing in July 22nd in this room, and then in August 5th in this room, and this morning, August 19th in this room. Since 19th, I believe, in July, we have sworn in 24 employees. We are building and growing, and this is not like, we are not hiring people to fill like anticipated spaces or just to do like spare people, spare parts. This is needs that we have now and the people that we need to have now. So I'm sure this is really moving forward. Of course, we have to support these things with our budget now. That's another challenge, but Del Centro is growing and our departments are growing and serving so many people and doing so many things. You've heard a lot of good things tonight that are taking place. And so very proud of our HR for doing all the work and getting all these things accomplished and filling these positions, and for the way we are continuing to grow. That's very impressive. On July the 28th, I attended there was an airport meeting with the, the airport, I'm sure, I think it's called the airport commissioner from the county.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are they are in the process of contracting another service, another company to have airport service, flying service at the airport. I think they have connections to Phoenix, Vegas, Hawthorne, and other places, but they will be LA. Yes,
Mhm.
Thank you. So that's Hawthorne as well. Yes. I think I'll skip down. I don't want to skip the end of summer art display that we had at the old post office that Jesus Corral, our teacher, is very talented, and he has a lot of talent under him that he's developing from very young people to very old people. That is very impressive what they're doing. Very impressive. Then August 2nd, Miss Claudia Camarena and myself, we attended the 413 Fitness opening, another fitness. So this is their third location, their second location in the city of El Centro. They house or service, I think they offer, what would you call it? They house the Reps for Vets organization as well that does a lot of work for veterans. So it's really a win-win situation for us as a city to have this. These places are really busy. So I asked behind the scenes, I asked, well, what's your secret sauce? Why do you have 3 locations, 2 in El Centro? Is it the price? And the folks that I asked said, no, it's the people. So very impressed with them and opening a 3rd location, the 2nd in El Centro. And then on August 2nd, I skipped that. I sit on the Community Advisory Committee for the Centinela Prison, and they have an annual event where they use some of the working prisoners, the trustees, some of their earnings to help the community, and it goes to children, disadvantaged children. So they usually buy bicycles, maybe 10 or 12 dozen bicycles at Christmas time or something like that, but that's no longer even available, not even Walmart this year, they just can't find them. So this year, we purchased 167 pairs of shoes before school starts at Skechers, that these funds that come from the working inmates, they approved this themselves. And so that was also a really big deal for our community to help kids start school, new backpacks, new pair of shoes. It was very positive as well. So that pretty much concludes my report as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I echo a lot of the events I went to as well, so I'm going to yield my time for the mayor's mentions. The mayor for the day, I'm excited to announce that applications are now open for our Mayor for the Day contest. This program gives local students a chance to step into the role of mayor or council member, learn about the city government, and experience civic leadership firsthand. I encourage parents and guardians to have their children participate in this unique opportunity. Deadline to participate is September 19th. Full details and applications are available on our city website. We also have the Quiet Servant Award. I'm pleased to share that nominations are now open for our Quiet Servant Award. This award honors individuals in our community who work selfishly behind the scenes, making a positive impact without seeking recognition. I encourage everyone to consider nominating someone whose quiet dedication has helped strengthen our city. Deadlines to submit nominations is September 1st. Full details and nominations from all forms are available on our city website, also. I was trying to read fast because I was like, okay, I'm gonna move on. Flavors Without Borders. The city of El Centro is now looking for vendors to participate in our upcoming Flavors Without Borders event. This celebration will highlight the food, culture, and talent of our community, and we invite local vendors to be a part of it. The event is in early September. Those interested can find more details on our city's social media as well. We also have the First Responders Wall engraving. The city of El Centro is now accepting applications for the engraving of the First Responders Wall. This tribute honors the dedication and sacrifice of our local heroes, and we encourage families and community members to submit names of recognition. Deadline to submit an application is September 12th. More details and applications information is also on our website. Now I turn it over to our acting city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. So I'd like to point out a couple things from staff that really kind of set us apart. Not only as a city, but the staff themselves. Our library programs just concluded for the summer with record attendance. Just some amazing work that's being done in our local libraries. Full capacity of all the programs from teenage all the way through adults. Now we are partnering with Imperial Valley College and offering ESL classes here at our adult center. Just a lot of different programs going on. And at the conclusion of summer and children going back to school, we have our Parks and Recs program that wrapped up their summer programs. Phenomenal attendance at the Aquatic Center, throughout the community center, and just all of the different programs citywide. We had an opportunity, a couple of you and I, recently to attend the community center, and just the attendance there. And again, it's the ages. I think they were in there from ages 2 to 3 all the way up to 50 plus, because I'm in that category. Just a lot of vibrant programs going on across the city. So thank you to staff that put those programs on. takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, and certainly want to recognize you and your teams for doing that. As well as Amelia and Mario, who are there to document the fun side of every event. Mario's sinking down in his chair there. But they go out there, and Amelia will come in just dripping wet with, from being out in the sun of all the programs. Mario comes in, and he's typing away on the computer. Just a great group of people to highlight the events that are occurring from our staff. And then lastly, I want to point out our fire department. They have traveled near and far to assist neighboring communities throughout the state in their time of need with the wildfires that are occurring up and down the state. It's certainly not the last time that our strike teams will be out. Praise the Lord that they come back safely every time. But they've gone out and they've participated in wildfires across the state and make a difference to other communities. Just one way that they pay back the citizens of the state of California. Great work and great effort from our fire department as well. So thank you. And with that, that's all I have tonight.
No, I really think everything that you mentioned deserves an applause. Let's give them applause. Yes. Thank you to everyone. That is phenomenal information. Very good for the city of El Centro. I heard a lot of compliments as well about all of our summer programs, that we're the only one who had a lot of those summer programs. So kudos to our staff.
Yes.
Without you, there's no us. Yes, thank you. And with that being said, it's 8:34 and this meeting is adjourned.